Good morning. This is Wednesday morning, August 16th. I'm going to talk about my salary cap hockey league today. We're in the middle of doing a slow draft for this 18 team salary cap league. I know I had stated on a previous podcast that the term salary cap has changed over the years. Salary cap is what people are using to refer to auction drafts as, where you have a budget to pay for your players. Well, this more or less is the same. I have to worry about salaries coming into play. We are in round 6. It's actually my turn. I just got up not too long ago, and it is 4:46 in the morning. And you know what? I'm very happy to see. I'm very happy to see a fantasy hockey draft in front of me right now. I live for this sort of thing. Just I like drafting and I like the analysis and I like trying to figure out things. I just don't have formulas or calculations of my own. I don't have stats of my own, and I don't have the wherewithal to get those updated stuff. So I just like taking what's there in front of me and figuring out what the best course of action is. Right now, I have on my team Trace Trace Tage Thompson from Buffalo. He is center and right wing. I have Alex Tuck, right wing from Buffalo. I have Matthew Boldy from Minnesota. I have Zach Hyman from Edmonton, and Jeremy Swayman, goalie from Boston. This is awesome. I have values for each of these guys right now. Like Tage Thompson is going to cost me $7.142 million to retain, and I have him for the length of his contract. That's another difference from this salary cap league versus other quote unquote salary cap leagues. This is not a I bid $40 and I can keep him for 3 years, or I can designate him as an awesome keeper and I can keep him for 4 at increased cost or reduction of value here or there, like I have seen with other league descriptions online. I have a spreadsheet set up to keep track of all these players right now. Like, in particular, I have one that shows that this year I've already committed $27,867,857 toward my quote unquote salary cap, which is 40% above the NHL salary cap. So I have a limit of $116,900,000 to play with here. So I have 5 players that are under contract for this year. I have 4 for next year, 4 for the following year. I have 3, and 1 going out 1, 2, 3, 4, going out 5 years beyond this year. I have ages for players to tell me how old they are right now. I've got average values of what the average player is costing me so far. I've got average values for how much players should cost me going forward. I've got all sorts of numbers left and right to tell me how good and or bad of an idea of what I'm doing is. So I am really looking forward to getting this thing finished. Like yesterday, I think we crushed 4 rounds, almost 3 rounds in one day, and we started Sunday morning. And but somehow on a random Tuesday, we crushed 3 freaking rounds. So now that I've got a center right wing, left right, and another left right, it means I should probably go back and look at another center or another right wing right now. But I have valuations on players. Defensive players are starting to go off the board, so I can wait a little bit on wingers. I'll probably wait one more round and then take Joe Pavelski, because Pavelski's, while he is old, he will be affordable. I forgot Shifley's only $6 million. I am going to go and take. Sandin's the backup in Washington, but Devin Taves is also the backup in Colorado. Same thing with Rasmus Anderson. Justin Falk might be the starter out in Buffalo. So what I do when I'm in a spot like this is on my fantasy hockey spreadsheet, I'm actually copying and pasting their numbers from capfriendly.com. That way I have the hyperlink within the name and I can link back to capfriendly.com and figure out who the best and or not best player to pick is. Yeah, Justin Falk, Torrey Krug. Ooh, Falk is 31. Ugh. They have him signed until 32, 33, 34, 35. Until he's 35. Which is okay, but I know they've got a hot prospect that they're trying to bring up in the St. Louis system. They're trying to get, not Sanderson, where is the mother? Yeah, bloop, bloop, bloop. No. Those guys don't look familiar. Perunovich. Yeah, they're trying to get Scott Perunovich up and into the league. So they might actually move Justin Falk or Torrey Krug in the next year or so, and I don't think they're going to have the same value. So in a redraft league, I would take them. But because I have to worry about what's going on more than just this year, I'm going to go take Devin Taves of Colorado. Ooh, Mike Matheson is also very attractive right now. Let's see what Montreal is looking at D, because I know Lane Hudson's supposed to come in, but he's still probably 2-3 years away from doing that. Yeah, like Matheson signed for 3 more years, and he's only 29, so that's already a plus on Falk. So if I take Matheson, I can wait for Caden Gooley or God, what's his name? I should know the name by now. Arbor Xhekaj. Xhekaj. There we go. Yeah, Arbor Xhekaj. Such a weird last name. Xhekaj. Arbor Xhekaj. There's also, who is it? Lane Hudson. I think they drafted out of Michigan. Is supposed to be the next great guy, but he's probably 3 years away from competing for the top spot, which would mean about the time that Matheson is gone. So I can either take Matheson as the top power play guy in Montreal, or I can try and take Taves. Right now, I'm going to... Let me see where Matheson's projection is. Yeah, see, Falk is up there, Taves is there. Forcing such. Matheson really that far back? I don't think he's that bad, but I can always get him later. So with that in mind, I'm going to go Devin Taves, because he could potentially get traded to somebody and he's going to be the top line guy. So now that I've got Devin Taves officially on my lineup now, I need to go to the Colorado page. Eek. There we go. And I'm just going to copy and paste his thing from here. Oh, I should have looked at that beforehand. He's at $4 million for 1 year. But that just means he's going to get signed for a big contract next year, and then I can wait and see where he gets signed to, and then figure that out. No, that's not what I want to do. I want to put it right there. There we go. Yeah, when I do it on my computer versus on the screen at home, it copies it just a little differently. So I get that set up. Tells me I'm going to only pay for that much, which means I need to go and look for cheap, young talent afterwards. Huh. Yeah, I guess Matheson was... Maybe I should have taken a flyer on Matheson instead, but... We'll go and see what's going on with the depth chart here in a second. Where's Montreal? Nope, that's Florida, Montreal. Okay, cool. Yeah, see, if I go look at the depth charts right now, Matheson and Savard are on the top line. But if I go back and look at the Avalanche, Devin Taves is sharing the line with Cole Makar. if they don't get Taves signed to an extension, then they can always move Taves because of his value. Or if things go south for Colorado, they can move Taves to a team that could sign him to a deal and therefore, have a halfway decent lineup in front of him. So I'm not too worried about taking on 1-year contracts. This will actually help me out if anybody gets signed during the year. I can pick up a player and I'm like, well, I'm not going to pay Devin Taves beyond this year or Jeremy Swayman beyond this year. So I've got the salary cap set up on a spreadsheet, so I have an idea of what I'm getting myself into. Now, should I have double checked Taves' long-term contract before I picked him? Yes, absolutely I should have. Am I dumb for it? Quite possibly. That kind of makes Justin Falk a little more affordable at 6.5. But, I mean, Rasmus Anderson was the other guy I was looking at. And Rasmus Anderson, yeah, see, he's got Noah Hannafin there at the same time. And, I mean, Hannafin could get traded because I don't think Calgary's going to want another $4 million, almost $5 million cap hit right there. Uyghur's going to run that deal, but Anderson and Hannafin are both behind him right now. Yeah, I'm not too hot on that. So, with that said, it'll probably be another 4 hours before I get another pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 picks to get back to me. I could have done Morgan Riley. Yeah, that's the thing. I got to balance some of this crap. I've got an average of about $4 million left here. I could have also picked Sandin. Let's see what John Carlson is doing in Washington right now. 3 at 8. Then he's going to be pretty old. Fevry's there. Sandin is there now. Sandin's good for like a depth pick. Yeah, Sandin's going to run the second. Is going to be on second pairing with Jensen. If Fevry is going to be the next man up after Carlson is there, but who knows? Yeah, because Sandin came over from Toronto and he put up 15 points in 19 games when he was running everything, which is cool. But he's going to get set up for a contract. Will probably be worth $4 million, which means I probably should have taken Rasmus Sandin instead right now. One of the other things I have to pay attention to is this is like a 26 round main draft, so I can only take players that are not minor league eligible, and then I have rounds 27 through 46 that are going to be available, and I can take minors eligible players in that round. That means I can take defensive players that have less than 101 games played professionally. So if they get to 100, they're just under it. If they're at 101, they are no longer minors eligible and have to be moved to my major league roster. I have 3 days to fix that. I can either cut players and take a 35% of their future cap hit year over year, or I can take the full cap hit all at once. So if I've got a guy that's $7.57 million for 2 more years, or if I have a guy that's $7.5 million for 2 years, per year for 2 years, I can either take 35% of that cap hit, like $3 million-ish, or I can take all $7.15 million that year as a dead cap hit just to get out, so I don't have to pay him $7 million next year. There's some very interesting shenanigans that are going to go on. I have players that I want. I have players that are cheap. I have players that are not necessarily going to be amazing top of the line guys, but it's all about flexibility right now. If I don't like my team this year, that just means I need to draft top end players in my minor leagues. So, like Jake Sanderson, not a rookie, but he hasn't played 101 games at the majors. Luke Hughes just came up, had 2 games in the pros. He is officially a rookie, and he'll keep his minors eligibility next year, and he will lose it at the start of the 25-26 season. So I have him in a good spot. Like, Caden Gooley, Arbor Jacki, Bowen Byram. I mean, like, there are defensive players. Cam York, I think, is actually underrated. And same thing with Kalen Addison. There's, like, goalies. Like, Akira Schmid did pretty good. Goalie limits are 51 starts. Which means, in theory, Schmid's already taken 24 starts. If he starts, like, 30 games this year for New Jersey, he's going to lose his minors eligibility. And we'll have to see what happens. Ukko Pekka-Luukkonen feels like he's been there for a minute. He's at 46 games. Okay, so he has been there for a minute. He's at 46 games. So, who knows? Joey Daccord in Seattle. Danil Tarasov in Columbus. Like, there are players to take. Dustin Wolf. Caden Primus falling off in Montreal. Etu Makaniemi. Urson in Philly. Like, there are guys to take. Askarov. I know... What's his face in Minnesota? Jesper Wallstedt. There we go. Dustin Wolf. Out in Calgary. Like, there are guys that you can take. Now that I think about it, I'm going to rotate a couple players around, and I'll see what the defensive players look like on the way back. There are 2 teams that haven't picked a single defensive player yet. I took a stab at Taves because I think either he's going to get signed to a nice, good, healthy contract, or he's going to get traded to a team that will pay him a nice, long contract. I'm going to play it by ear. That means I need to go young in my defensive core later. K'Andre Miller from the Rangers, I am going to take a look at him. He is Major League eligible. I mean, Adam Fox isn't going anywhere, but Miller could get moved because he also has Jacob Trouba in front of him. Or behind him. Depends on, how you look at those things. And that Rasmus Ristolainen, like, I'm looking at, like, cheap third-line guys. I mean, hell, Forsling because this is such a deep league, is not a bad idea. Forsling is going to cost, what do they have him at? Yeah, see, 2.66. Alright, so let's go check Florida's real quick. Florida is here. Yeah, see, Forsling is at a point where they need to go and sign him again. And that he's going to be done after this year. Brendan Montour is going to be done after this year. Aaron Ekblad is going to be done after this year. So there could be some really interesting things going on. Because Forsling is at the top of the pile right now. Ekblad is going to be out for a while. Montour is supposed to only be out a month. So Ekblad is going to start out really freaking hot. And Ekblad's almost done with his contract, even though he's 27. So we'll see what goes on. Gotta find out what's going on with him. Okay, cool. So that's essentially my fantasy hockey team. Hopefully, I'll have another update later this week, maybe Friday morning. I'll get another one of these podcasts out, give an update on how many players have been taken, where the salary cap stands. I'm going to have a thing about fantasy football coming back up again, probably on Sunday, because the slow draft for the company Dynasty League that I'm at is supposed to start on Monday morning at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I think I've got most of my guys in place. I've traded who I've wanted, I've solidified my team where I need, and I'm okay with who falls where. Now, the question is, can I get more picks? If the answer is yes, cool. If the answer is no, no sweat off my back, I've kind of figured out who I want. I've got about 5 guys on my list, and I'll only have a chance at maybe 3 of them. So, I'll see where the chips fall and then figure out what I want from there. Okay, cool. So, I will sign off and hope you all have a great day. Thank you.